Hi, I'm Ben. I'm a third year geographer at CATS, and here is a few questions about CATS itself and the college. And the first question is, did you pick CATS? And the answer to that is yes. And if yes, why did you pick CATS? I picked CATS for a few reasons. First of all, I just really loved what was going on there and the kind of different kind of atmosphere and style that it's got compared to other colleges. That was just from going along and having a look at photos and actually going along on the open day. But you can get a really good view from the website and the kind of virtual tours that are available there, so do check that out. And I just really like the kind of open, very sort of green atmosphere, very different to any other colleges in Oxford. And I liked as well that it was a little bit out of the city centre, so it just felt a lot more kind of quiet and a little bit more relaxed compared to some of the other colleges. And one of the other reasons was that there are quite a lot of geographers, so I like the idea of having a larger group of geographers. As a lot of the teaching is done in college for your tutorials and some of your classes. So I like to have a big group, and it means that the college library is fully equipped with geography books, so it means we don't have to go to the university library to get geography books, and it also just means that we've got a really nice geography community across the years at CATS, which is something that's really nice. The other kind of main issue for me for choosing CATS was the fact that the majority of undergraduates get 3 years of accommodation on site. So this isn't the case for everybody, but the majority of people who want 3 years to live on site do tend to get 3 years, and that's a little bit different than other colleges, so it's definitely something worth looking at, because some people like the idea of living out, so you might live out in other parts of Oxford in a rented house, in a private rented house, whereas at CATS the majority of people, as I said, do live all 3 years on site, and that just creates a really nice community atmosphere and buzz, and saves the kind of worry and stress of trying to sort out the accommodation. Going on to the accommodation, what is a student accommodation like? Well, we've got kind of two sort of distinct kind of set of rooms, and the most important thing to say is that all the fee for the room is the same, no matter what room you're in for the whole year for everybody at college, which is something that's really nice. So we've got two kind of sets of rooms. The first is where you tend to live in first and third year, which is what we call Old Quad, and these are rooms that either have a sink or a no sink, and then shared bathroom and kitchen facilities. And these are really nice kind of community areas. It's really, really relaxed. And they've all got great views, either looking into the college itself or out across the meadows, which is really nice. And then usually in second year, although it can vary again by year, we live in the slightly what we call newer quad, which are slightly newer rooms. The majority of these are en suite and again have really nice big shared kitchens. So a lot of them have these nice kitchen spaces, which means you can really have a relaxed time cooking with friends, and it's a nice way to relax in the evening. Why did you choose Oxford? I chose Oxford because it had a really, really interesting geography course, which I wanted to choose, and it linked to a lot of the interests that I had. And also I'd heard about the tutorial teaching and small group teaching, which I thought would really appeal to me, having that chance to talk with people who are really experts in what they are talking about and what they're teaching you, and also to bounce ideas off other students at the same time. It's something that really appealed to me. What hobbies do you do? I've done a lot of things whilst I've been at university, and I'm very lucky that my degree means that, unlike school, we get a bit more chance to choose when we do our work, so we can kind of fit our activities around that. So for a while I was a volunteer at a local primary school, helping in their outdoor learning. I've also been involved in some charity fundraising events, the highlight of which was organising a bungee jump in the centre of Oxford off a crane for charity. I was also college hockey captain in my second year as well, so organising the college team of hockey where we play against other colleges. What does a typical day look like for you? Well, geography has perhaps less contact time than some of the other science subjects, so I might have a couple of lectures in the morning, which is just a chance to see the geographers from across the year, and then you might have a lecture covering some of the key of the main content of the course, or perhaps one of the options. Then we'll come back and have lunch, and then mostly work in the library in the afternoon for a few hours, perhaps have a sort of small class teaching or a tutorial where we would go over the essay that we've done for the week, and then carry on in the library working on an essay for the week, and then in the evening I tend to have off, catching up with friends, or maybe going out in Oxford. So I study geography and I'm in my third year, and I've actually just finished my final exams. So I'm basically done, which is very scary. But I can tell you a little bit about geography and what I'm studying at the moment. So what am I studying at the moment? Basically, in the first year, we get a very broad course, which is really nice. So we get to do some physical and some human geography covering a range of courses, looking at rivers and mountains, mostly in human geography, and their interactions with the sort of physical and biological environment. And then in human geography, we start off with a broad course looking at a range of issues from sort of socio-economic kind of geography and more sort of cultural geography, so looking at how we interact with space and how different people have thought about and conceived space and how that's applied today, whether that be in transport, right through to sort of where people are living and things about census, and like a myriad of kind of different changes as well. So we've done a lot of work on urban geography and the urban environment changing, and in particular, a favourite of mine is digital geography. So how is the world around us being shaped and changed by the different digital interactions, whether that be your phone, whether that be the smart app on the bus that tells you when the bus is coming. All that kind of stuff is fundamentally changing the way we experience the environment. So I find that really interesting. In the second and third year, we get a little bit more choice. So we get to choose some option courses alongside some of the more core courses that we still do. So my highlight has really been these option courses because it really gives you a chance to drill down on something that's super interesting. And again, like the rest of the course, being taught by someone who's an absolute expert in their field. So for me, I did options in European politics, in urban geography, and in transport mobility. So 3 really interesting topics, that are really broad and also really different. So it's a really nice chance to have different things, and it keeps the revision nice and fresh as well, with having lots of different topics. And in particular, a highlight of me for the geography course is dissertation, which you do over the summer and the summer of second year, then most of the third year first term, in the autumn term. So this is a really good chance to kind of get on with your own personal research. You can choose absolutely anything as long as it's got something to do with geography, to go away and research and then write a piece on, then it forms part of your final degree. And so I did mine all about festivals, so city festivals in London, particularly looking at Lovebox and Citadel, and how they've affected perceptions of parks. So these are big festivals that are in public parks, but they close the park to do the festival. So I was really interested about how these big events affect people's interactions with the park, and whether there's any kind of long-lasting changes beyond the actual festival. So that was really interesting. What are your tutorials like? So our tutorials tend to revolve around an essay, a piece of work that we prepared in advance. So this will usually be set a week in advance, or we'll have about a week to do it, which we'll do in advance the tutorial, going away, reading, combining that with the lectures that we would have had as well on this topic, to come away and create an essay. And then within the tutorial, we'll spend the time discussing the topics, not just the essay itself, but also the other bits around it. And so it can be really varied in tutorial. It might be kind of like questions by the tutor, or the tutor might choose to go over certain aspects of it first, or quite often we've got a little whiteboard in our room, so quite often draw and scribble around different processes that are involved, to really make sure that we get a really clear understanding of the topic. And I think that's the really benefit of the tutorial system, is that having the small group teaching means that you're able to get that really good insight into the topic, and work at it alongside your peers and tutor.